it's me, Renee. I'm back, and as you can see, I'm here for another Eurovision themed book tag. Now, yes, was the final last Saturday, that being a few days ago, yes, but I kind of decided still want to do this tag, so yeah, and it's still Eurovision month, so yeah. I mean, it's not like you have rules to when you can do winners or not. At least not like hardcore rules. So yeah. And yeah, as you might have noticed, this is another Eurovision tag. Like, didn't you do a Eurovision tag a few weeks ago? Yes, they were two made a few years ago. So they're similar in a lot of ways, but not all the ways. So yeah, decided why not do both. So this one is created by Bob the Bookerer. Of course, I'll link his video down below. And yeah, let's get to the prompts. First question. A book that represents your country, because I mean, all the songs represent a country. So here I'm thinking like, well, how do you define and represent a country? Is it like just an author from your country? Is it an author that's best-selling? How do you define it? I ended up going with Evna or The Mites, or the last book in the Raven Rings trilogy by Siri Pettersen. So Siri Pettersen, she's a Norwegian author, but she has her books have been translated to a lot of languages, among them English. She has a huge fan base. Yeah, I kind of think that I believe she should kind of put Norway on the map. I would think at least in some ways. Though I suppose if everybody knows where the author of your Facebook is from, I'm not sure. But still, yeah. She doesn't use. It's not a word by word retelling of Norse mythology, but you can see it's clearly based upon Norse mythology in some aspects. So yeah, Steve Petterson definitely would say represents our country in a good way. And yeah, oops. Let's move on to next prompt. Give me a moment. A critically acclaimed book you love. Here I'm gonna go with Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. It's gotten, you know what, I feel like, yeah, well, this is, you know what, yeah, I'm gonna use it. Yeah, it's gotten lots of critical acclaim. It was first published, self-published in 2020, and then it got republished by Orbit, so, I mean, you do know when something's republished officially, it's getting lots of hype. And yeah, it has gotten lots of good reviews. I read it last year, I loved it. So yeah, this book, Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. It is precisely it's kind of like it's standalone, but it's like kind of part of a companion series. So I suppose you could read more from the same universe because the author has several books in the same universe, but it's kind of companion, kind of a standalone. So yeah, just so you know that. Then we have a best-selling book you love. Here I'm gonna go with. Give me a moment. Things are just falling all over. I'm gonna go with A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking by T. Kingfisher. So I just read this a few days ago. I read it both like in a book, but also listened to a lot of it on an audiobook. And well, it's the same story, but yeah. Both of them perfection. It's just so original and different and cozy and lovely, and yeah, I love it, oh so much. Definitely gonna read more by T. Kingfisher, and yeah, I believe this is quite a bestseller. At least, like, I feel a lot of people talk about it. At least, I suppose it's not like no one buys it. How do you define a bestseller? Which bestseller list do you look at? Yeah, I'm gonna play this anyway because I believe it's a bestseller. So that's why I'm doing it. And then next prompt, a book by Australian author, because yeah, Australia has been part of Eurovision for the last few years. And you might be thinking like, why it's called Eurovision? Well, actually, yeah, it started in Europe, which this is kind of fun fact I just learned. It started in Europe, but it's called Eurovision because it started in Switzerland. But I mean, you have Australia, you have Azerbaijan, you have Israel, and those countries aren't in Europe either. So I suppose Eurovision is kind of Europe, but also like Europe adjacent. So I suppose how Australia is adjacent to Europe. I suppose it they still have the Queen, well, the King now. So I suppose that in that way they're adjacent to Europe, but well, to England. But anyway, Australian offer. And to no one's surprise, I'm gonna go with. Well, I suppose in case this is your first view here, you might not know that this is kind of go to Australia over. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Marianne Curley, here represented by the named first in her Guardians of Time series. And yeah, one of my all-time favorite books and one of my all-time favorite series. I reread it every now and then, and it's amazing. And yeah, let's kind of move on because I can't gush about all the books all the time because we won't sit here for everyone. And yeah, then we have a books for kids or teens you love because lately, well, this last few 20 years, yeah, 20 years, we've had Eurovision. So yeah, here I'm gonna go with the Arusha series, which is a middle grade series and one of my absolute favorite series of all time. Again, I have a lot of favorite series of all time, but I suppose a lot of us do. But yeah, this one definitely worth a read if you're in an interest to read. Yeah. And then we have, give me a moment, an author you would buy hardcover from because Hard Rock Hallelujah. Honestly, I suppose you might have already noticed this from like shelves and stuff. Mainly, I do paperbacks. I'm not really all that much into hardcovers. Like, even if I love an author, I often won't buy hardcover because I feel like it's expensive, and often hardcovers are just the same book, just like with more expensive and kind of heavier to hold. But then I remembered, well, sometimes you have hardcovers, like you have special editions released in hardcovers. So with that in mind, I'm gonna go with the Clockwork Scarab. With this, I suppose I think this might probably already have a hardcover because often you have hardcovers first and then paperback. But yeah, if this ever got a hardcover special edition, probably would buy it because I mean, you could have a map because it's a fantasy, so all fantasies need maps, even urban fantasies. You could have like special content, and yeah, I feel like it would just be right for it, really. And yeah, then we have a book based on myths or fairy tales. Here I'm gonna go with a recent read. A lot of these are older reads, but yeah, some of these some of these are recent-ish reads. And here I'm gonna go with Charlie Hernandez and a League of Shadows by Ryan Callejo. And this is all about Latinx myths, so both myths from Spain, but also from Latin America, but also myths from Portugal. So yeah, around those places. And yeah, very, very good book. Again, all I've heard, I would say. It's a very, very good book. People need to check it out. So yeah. We have a historical novel you love. Sorry, moment. And here, no surprise, I'm gonna go with Caribbean Heiress in Paris by uh, Adriana Herrera. Love this book so much. One of my all-time favorite favorite books, and yeah, very, very good book. Definitely one that needs to be bought and read by everyone. Then we have a cheesy, funny book. Here I'm gonna go with, where did the book go? Yeah, give me a moment. Here I'm mentioning a book I haven't really talked about in quite a while. It is Royal Crush by Meg Cabot. So this is the spin-off series of Milgram and Princess Diaries, which, in case you don't know, yes, it has a spin-off series. It's set around spoilers, but this book series has been out now for like years, like it's been out like for almost 10 years. I would say, yeah, almost 10 years. But anyway, it's based uh, around Mia's half sister. Yeah, she has a half sister. And yeah, so as I was saying, like most of Maykamit's books, they're all cheesy, but they're all funny and fun, and this one definitely is. But yeah, it's a delight to read. And yeah, then we have a book that makes you feel good. Here I'm gonna go with. I think I might give me one moment here because. I think I'm doing that for that. Yeah. Book that makes me feel good. Geek Girl by Holy Smail. Yes, it also makes me cry because some scenes in this kind of slightly triggering for me at least, but also kind of nice to see it in her. In case you want to know what it's all about, it's a bullying scene. So yeah. But yeah, all in all, it quite makes me very much feel good. Love this series so much. Then we have a classic but relevant book. Now, I don't read that many classics, but also like, how do you define classics? Like, does it have to be a book written before the 1940s? Can it be like a book that other people are talking about? Like, how is that classic? Well, because you do so much talk about modern classics. Like, how do you define a modern classic? What's the difference between a modern classic and a classic? But yeah, I'm gonna go with Fire by Kristen Cashore. It came out in 2011. So yeah, I would say like it's newer, but it's not like completely new. And yeah, I would say it's a YA classic, YA fantasy classic. And yeah, it's a great book. Check it out. Everyone needs to check it out. Sorry. Then we have last but not least, simply a European author you think people should check out. Here I'm gonna go with Vibeke Bruggemann, who's written Love is for Losers, Love is for Losers, which came out last year, 2 years ago now? Maybe it came out 2 years ago. 2020! Oh, I was not sure this came out. Okay, yeah, 2020. But anywho, she's coming out with a new book this year because yeah, she hasn't written anything new since. But I mean, sometimes masterpieces takes time, and this book is a masterpiece. Vibeke Bruggemann, she's a German author who now lives in the UK. I want to say, yeah, she lives in the UK now. But yeah, she's German born and bred. So yeah, German author people should definitely check out. I suppose you could say like, why am I recommending an author based on a book? Like, often you can recommend an author based on like a whole over, like they have 1,000 books, and you should definitely check out some of their books. This author has so far only one book. Yes, they have, but it is amazing book. People need to read it. So yeah, and yeah, her next book is coming out in June. Definitely one of my favorites. Well, one of my anticipated reads of this year. So yeah. And that's that for this Eurovision guide. I hope you enjoyed it. And in case you have any thoughts, comments, whatever on what I said, please talk to me in the comments. And I'll see you soon. Bye.